So I want someone who's comfortable in their own skin and knows who they are.
It sounds like you don't really have a type.
No, I don't have a perceived type, so... What the fuck? Totally not what I wanted. Not good. I normally go just short, petite, blonde or brunette.
I swear some of these people don't know they're being filmed, or they are completely unaware of how reality TV works, because that is embarrassing. Yeah, today I'll be talking about Tim and Katie from Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight is a show where people get married at first sight. It's said that they are matched up by 3 professional relationship experts. So they match these people up and see if it works. See if they can get a scientific formula for finding the right person for them. I'm sure before it even goes to these trio of experts, there are plenty of casting agents involved who pick people that they think will be interesting for the season from a drama perspective and that have the right look that they're going for. I've never watched Married at First Sight Australia. I watched the British version, the first series of the British version, about 15 years ago. And in that series, they did get legally married. In Married at First Sight Australia, they don't. So at least that's positive. They're not legally tied to each other. So today, I'll be talking about Katie and Tim. Katie runs a company that runs restaurants, and Tim is a primary school teacher. They're both 37 and 38, so around about the same age, and they say they want to settle down. So on the surface, it would seem like a good match. They both are looking for the same things. Katie really does outline what she is looking for underneath it all.
I would really love to meet somebody who accepts me for me. I want to find my person. I just want a nice guy, a kind person.
I have found that nice guys finish last, but I'm hoping this person will change that and want the nice guy.
After that introduction from Tim, I saw trouble on the horizon. Anyone who describes themselves as a nice guy is dangerous. And wanting a woman who just considers that he's a nice guy and will settle for the nice guy that he is. Yeah, it was just bad vibes from the start. And it's sad that when I saw that clip, I just knew the direction it was heading. As we work up to the wedding day, I think we start to see that Katie is maybe a bit more vulnerable and that she is really self-conscious about how she will be seen and whether a man would be disappointed in her. So we see that she's actually quite self-conscious. She has confidence, but she also has, as you know, she's a bit vulnerable. But as we saw before, she hasn't got a cut-out picture in her head that she wants. And we finally get to the wedding day, and they write vows for each other.
A lot in my life, and I rebuilt my self-esteem on the promise to never dull my shine. I would never want you to dull your shine for me. In fact, let's ramp that lever right up.
She's cold.
I'm not looking for perfection. All I'm looking for is a warm, squishy hug at the end of the day, a kind smile in the morning, and someone to go on hikes with. I want to be proven that the good guy is still out there and that I finally found him. Who knows, we could be the best thing to ever happen to each other. I'm here for the right reasons, so please don't worry about that. I also don't have any intentions of doing an OnlyFans account.
I'm open and honest. In the past, I've been labelled the nice guy, and somehow that's been a negative. But I want this to be something that you love about me.
I already love that.
I believe in the experts and that they can find the needle in a haystack that I've always been searching for. I'm a true romantic at heart.
And yes, Tim does use his vows to assert that he is a very nice guy, and it has often been used against him. Yeah, she was very positive about him. She liked his vows. She didn't really look at him as like an object. And she was really positive about the whole thing. She didn't set out that she expected a lot, really. She was very open to meeting whoever the experts said that was best for her. But Tim, on the other hand, well, he is a nice guy, but something just wasn't working for him.
I just haven't got that initial spark, but she's lovely and so nice, and yeah, she's a beautiful girl, but I just was surprised I didn't have that initial spark. But
so this is where he started his villain arc. He kept repeating, and he will repeat throughout this whole thing, that he didn't feel a spark. There's just no spark. It's nothing personal. There's just no spark. Because, of course, a spark must happen the second you see each other. Like, when you look across a room, you just fall in love instantly. And he keeps relying on this word spark because he doesn't have the gall to say what he really means. So he keeps saying spark, which kind of makes it seem less shallow than what it really is. And shallow it can be. You can be shallow. If you're shallow, you're shallow. He had a set of standards that he wanted, and he outlines that to the producer.
Explain the woman that you were hoping to be matched with.
Yeah, there's no one type that I have, but I was thinking I'd be, I'm not sure, with more of a shorter woman but yeah, she's definitely beautiful, but just different to what I would normally go.
Turn them more towards my camera over here.
I normally go just short, petite, normally go blonde. I don't know how to say it. It's not like I'm like, oh, I wanted the skinny, but it's not that. I mean, I definitely don't always judge a book by its cover. So no, I don't just run just because of what the person looked like, but yeah, I'm feeling a bit deflated. Not sure why we got matched.
Yeah, he cares all about all of those things. He is shallow. He is fully judging a book by its cover. They've only spoken in the vows at this point. He's complaining that there's no spark, and he expected that from the vows. But it's not about how she looks, because she is pretty. And there's one thing that he says in this that I think is really telling, and that is, I'm baffled why we were put together. And I think he thinks he deserves better because he's such a nice guy, and he didn't outline that he had a type. So by saying he was more open, he probably thought it would actually get him someone better looking, or someone he thinks is better looking. But saying that you're baffled is also a reflection on himself. I think his ego cannot take that they've matched him with Katie because he doesn't view her as attractive. And that hurts his ego because is he on par with her? So his ego's also damaged. I'm also sure he's seen this show and seen a lot of the women that come on this show and expected one of them. I was probably really thrilled when he got picked out of the hat, thinking he was going to get one of those, girls that works out every day, model-esque. That's what I think he was expecting. Well, not tall. Someone short. Somebody that probably makes him look tall is probably what he wanted, actually. But he was expecting the kind of women that are on these reality shows. But not only does he complain about a lack of spark, he is also consistently rude to her and withdrawn from her the whole day. You saw how he was with the photographer. He's like that at dinner as well.
So awkward.
Right? It's to kind of be expected, really.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone sitting there was extremely awkward. I'm sure it's edited in a way to maybe make it seem worse, but you can't fake that behaviour. That behaviour that's authentic, that's real, and that's somebody who's clearly forgotten they're on TV. And one of the prime moments of how cruel he is to her on the wedding day is with the cake cutting.
Ready? Nice. There's crumbs on it.
No, I'm not doing that, Trey. I'm not doing that.
No, I promise. Okay, no deal.
If that isn't making it obvious, I don't know what is. That is just cruel and humiliating towards her. He's acting if she's got the plague, or if he's going to get something from just kissing her on the cheek. He's so annoyed that he has been assigned Katie. I think his ego must be so damaged. Even though she's pretty. She's a pretty girl. I don't understand. I think he was expecting, because he's such a nice guy, he expected to get this set of standards, and they wouldn't have called him if it wasn't met. Of course they wouldn't have. And he's seen the women on this show. But Katie, on the other hand, it's probably a relief that he didn't like you, because I can imagine he's a type of groom that would smash his wife's face into a cake because it's funny, even though she spent ages having her hair and makeup done, and just wants to push her down a bit, you know? Have a bit of a laugh at her expense. But it all kicks off at the night of the wedding.
Last night for me was horrible. He kind of knocked on my door and wanted to chat. He just sat down and said, "There's no spark." To be rejected, like, I don't know what I've done wrong.
Katie, you've done nothing wrong. You've just existed around somebody who judges books by their cover, but will tell people it's because of a lack of a spark. So after this, they have this conversation. He tells her, essentially, it's up to you. We can go on the honeymoon or not, but you've got to make a decision. Which I think is cowardice. I think make a decision, put her out of her misery, if that's the case. But he's too afraid to look bad because he's such a nice guy, you know? He's such a good guy. As he leaves it in her hands, she decides that they should go on the honeymoon, get to know each other. Maybe a spark can grow from there. Producers maybe should have told her to actually cease this, like stop it, because he was so cool about her. But she decides to go on the honeymoon, get to know him, see if there's something they can build on. Because Katie is still staying positive. She still thinks, okay, if we've been matched together for a reason, there must be something. There must be something that they think will work between us. But even on the honeymoon, he's just completely disinterested. It's very clear he doesn't want to be there. She tries talking to him and getting to know him, and it's just awkward.
I think we need to focus on being like lighthearted and relaxing. If you wanted to get to know me, you ask anything.
Yeah. It's just hard to know what to say sometimes.
Do you think you are shy?
Yeah, I definitely am.
Yeah.
There's obviously a bit of me holding back because I'm not feeling it. There's definitely an attraction there, but like, it's definitely an attraction for the person she is more than the overall package, I think.
Yeah, there is no interest on his part. It is trying. You're right. It is trying, Tim. You're the trying problem. It is very trying. And then he goes, oh, it's about the person she is and not the package. Again, he's saying it's about her looks, but it's too cowardice to say it. Because he may be wise enough to know that that will not help him in the future with women. Because clearly he values himself very highly. Yeah, I mean, it's her package, you know. He's attracted to the person that she is, just not what she looks like. It's very, very obvious.
I don't know kind of what's up. If I like how I should be feeling.
I guess you should just be feeling however you want to feel, really.
Wow.
Like as in...
Confused. How are you feeling?
I'm definitely enjoying getting to know you. But
Again, she's trying and she's trying. She's trying to get an idea of how to make things better for him, how to get him on board. No, he's not interested. I think maybe he thinks if he sticks it out long enough that he won't come off as a bad guy. But he's coming off worse because he's just lying to her face. Lying to her so obviously, so blatantly, when the audience can see it. He's been ranting about it to the producers since the first second he saw her. We saw his face at the wedding. That was not a happy face at all. He saw her and was angry. And he always will go back to the word spark, like spark, spark, spark. What do you mean when you say spark? I know what you mean. And I think Katie does too.
Sometimes I think this not having a spark is just a cop-out to say I'm not physically attracted to you without hurting the other person's feelings.
okay, I guess we'll just agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree on what? Like you're not going to change your fixation on what your physical type is and how I'm not that.
I haven't once said it's just a physical thing. You keep saying, like, this physical thing, it's not just that. Like, I can't always just put my finger on it.
He can't put his finger on it because it is the physical thing, and it's only the physical thing. He wants a small, petite, blonde or brunette. The kind of girls that he normally gets rejected by, because that's what happens. He might go for them, but no one ever said he was successful. And no man should be judging anyone when they're 38 and in 2024, because I'm guessing it was filmed in 2024, are wearing ripped skinny jeans. No, my friend, you are in no position to do that. Also, it's starting to come off as gaslighting. She knows, you know, but you are still hammering home that this can change. And that it isn't that. You're just being mad. It's not right. You've got it wrong, Katie. That's how he's telling her consistently.
I think she's pretty upset.
Yeah, it was all going to eventually blow up. All Katie keeps trying to say is the sparks because of the looks. But it's not the looks, it's the overall. And I feel like since I told her I didn't have the spark, it's all been about how I'm feeling. And then she had to go up and she didn't think I was trying. I don't want to sit here and say bad things about her, but some of the things she said weren't true. It's sort of like a bit of betrayal. So that's made me question why she's here.
It's just so unfair. I'm trying to get to know him, but, like, it's so obvious. Like, he's not into me because of my physicals, like, what I am physically. Like, there's no lust, there's no spark. Like, I can put it all together. I'm not an idiot, like...
How has she betrayed you, Tim? I think he thinks that he should have this... People should appreciate him because he's such a good guy and he's protecting her feelings. He'll keep going back that, oh, it's the spark. But what is the spark? We as the audience, and Katie knows, that the spark is her attractive attractiveness to him, like how attractive he finds her. That's it. She's asking him how he feels. He's getting annoyed by that. Like, this is crazy. And the producers are telling him she's upset. She's upset, she's upset. And he's just saying, oh, I don't think she's here for the right reasons. Well, no offence, but she's actually the one that agreed to go on the honeymoon. So, and try and learn about you and try and build a spark. But you're the one that's angry because you didn't get your preference. You're the one that feels hard done by these producers. And even when he was saying about, well, it was always going to blow up, wasn't it? It kind of seemed like he was blaming the producers in the sense of, you should have got me what I wanted and now it wouldn't have blown up. Because I can see what you're doing, Tim. I see it. And I really have a problem with this because I think some onus needs to be put on the producers for this. They should have pulled her out of there at that point. They should have said, this can't continue. Tim, what you're doing is absolutely insane. He's gaslighting her. He's telling her, no, it's not that, it's not that. She's smart enough to know it is that. It clearly very much is that. It has nothing to do with who she is as a person. He has no interest in getting to know her. She tries to talk to him. He just shuts down. And he keeps saying it's a spark. And it's the cowardice to not even admit that it isn't about a spark. It's about looks. And what is a spark? He's not outlined what he actually considers a spark. What is a positive spark? Now she's left crying because she knows what he's saying. And he's gaslighting her. He's gaslighting her. He's admitted it to her before. That's what he wants. And he is fixated on that. The audience can see it. She can see it. But the producers could also see it. Part of me wishes that Katie chose to leave herself at that moment. Her take the step. Do an Elliot. I will talk about Elliot afterwards in another video. But maybe Katie should have removed herself from that situation because I think it was impacting her negatively. But they still get ready for the dinner party, which I don't know if you know anything. And at this dinner party, Tim turns up.
Have you tried? And I was hopeful, but I feel like I've lost a lot of that hope in this experiment. It's hard to have a spark grow.
Do you think there's any fixing this?
I'd be surprised if we could fix it because, yeah, Katie hasn't reached out. So there's been no effort to see if I was okay or to try and fix it.
Tim is joining her at the dinner party because he's such a good guy. The fact that he's annoyed that she hasn't reached out to him when she walked out crying is crazy. He's putting the onus on her because he doesn't want to take any responsibility. He's a coward. He also freely admits that you can't have a spark grow. It's hard to have a spark grow. Because the spark is just look. She isn't going to change fundamentally how she looks. So that spark can never grow. He was never hopeful. He was just hopeful that he could get through this experience looking like the nice guy and not looking shallow. That's what he was hopeful for. And then it is time for the first Married at First Sight dinner party. Married at First Sight dinner parties are where all the couples get together and discuss what's happening with them. And they're also known for being quite explosive. And if you don't turn up together, that's a big, big sign something is wrong. And Katie turns up and they're not together. And she comes in and she's visibly upset and she tells them basically everything that's happened. That he said that there was no spark. His interest, he was attracted to small, petite, blonde and brunettes, which she is the complete opposite of. So she told the girls that. And Tim, as somebody who is far more concerned with what other people think of him and how he looks to other people, doesn't really actually care about how she must be feeling at this moment.
He felt a bit of nerves seeing Katie, because I haven't seen her since the honeymoon. So I'm hoping that she can handle this situation in a more mature way.
Now, I'm very confused to how Katie hasn't been handling it maturely. Maybe the most mature thing in this situation would have been for Katie to leave. Maybe that would have been what's best if Katie left and did turn up to the dinner party. But on the other hand, maybe that's what he wanted, for her to leave, so he looks like he's been hard done by. Maybe this kind of mental berating he's been putting her through was to get that effect. Maybe. As the dinner party goes on, Elliot, who leaves on the day after the wedding, on the first day of the honeymoon, leaves his bride. And she's talking about her experience. But you see Tim's face light up, because now he's not the bad guy. But the bar can't be the floor. He's looking pleased with himself because he didn't treat her as bad as Elliot treated Lauren.
Yeah, he left on day 2.
We laughed him off. So what did he say when he left, or he didn't say anything?
Yeah, he said he wanted someone who was 25. He wanted 5 children.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it true? Having conversations with you, we didn't talk about kids, but how could you not think, like, kids is, like, you don't just be all fun. That's such a weird thing to say.
And he said that, you know, if he didn't get exactly what he wanted, that he was going to leave.
No, we're not looking that bad.
He's just trying to get all judgy about Elliot. The pot calling the kettle black.
You probably don't feel so bad now after... It was hard for me to come out. I'm sure it was hard for you too. But I didn't want you to be like that.
Well, I would never have left Katie like that. I wouldn't do that. And the respect I have for Katie, I wouldn't have done that.
It really is a situation of the pot calling the kettle black. I think he's just relieved that he probably won't look like the biggest villain. And considering Elliot's redemption arc, he is still probably the biggest villain of the series, even though he was in 9 episodes. Because what he did was so egregious. But he's pleased. He's like, oh, I'm not that unreasonable. It's great. And Tim is acting like he didn't have a list when he was describing, I wanted a short, petite, brunette or blonde, as if that wasn't a list. Then, to make it even worse, he compares himself positively. Not just comparing himself to Elliot as if Elliot, like he, you know, going to Kate and go, look, I didn't do that to you. He tells he tells who he's in conversation with at the dining table that he would never have done that to Katie. That he respects her, and even though this is hard for him to turn up to the dinner party, he's doing this because he doesn't want to see her walk in alone. He respects her so much, he would never do that because he's such a nice guy. Even if there is no spark, he will still put himself out there for her.
All I would say is...
I feel like I've been the one making most of the effort, but that's...
Are you serious?
We know from what we have seen that Elliot isn't putting in the most effort. He has shown his disinterest since day dot. He's not. But I think he believes it. He must believe it because it's almost too convincing if we hadn't had video evidence. Also, don't talk with your mouth full. That's so grim. Like, that's disgusting. And as the purpose is of these meetings, of these dinner parties, it's for the couples to ask questions, which they do.
I said that I didn't have that spark, so there's...
It's a lot more complex than just saying it's not a spark.
100%.
Everybody around that table knows that it's what he's saying is a load of crap. Everyone around that table knows that this is just lies. and he still won't admit it. If you just admitted it and made yourself look a bit bad, you probably would have saved yourself a lot of hurt, because you've come off worse. It goes to gaslight territory. Like, it's getting worse by the minute. Admit you have no connection. Admit you're shallow. Admit you want to get rejected by a small, petite, blonde or brunette. Admit it. But these dinner parties give a chance for the other partner to respond.
What else did you say?
I don't know. What else did I say?
About your type?
That is... Okay, I'm just going to shut up.
He just doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to admit it. So he just cuts off and goes back to eating bread. And hopefully not talking with his mouth full. Because you're not going to catch any ladies like that, Tim. But he can see what's happening. He knows that people are not buying his spark line. Because it's such a ridiculous line. If you had to drink every time Tim spoke about a spark in these 9 episodes he's in, you would end up with alcohol poisoning. Because that's all he says. Because he doesn't have the courage to just be shallow. Because he's a nice guy. You see? In this anger and in this frustration, he really reveals who he really is.
Stuff like, and let's have the whole table listen. That's not me. So do you think that was the best platform?
No, definitely not.
Don't get the whole table to sort of, because I wouldn't have done that to you.
Yeah.
Roles reversed with all the boys, I would have told them to back off.
Yeah.
So that just betrayed my trust. So I think, yeah, it was, I'm just disappointed that I didn't get that support.
Yeah.
That I would give you no matter what.
Yeah, I can see your point. Your points are, like, what you say is valid, and...
It's here to get to know you. And when you don't feel that you get that back, it's devastating. It's out of both of us. Do you think who's been the most honest? And tried to communicate that?
I think we both have.
Okay. I feel like I have opened up, but I felt like you haven't wanted to get to know me at all. Do you feel like you have?
I mean, I don't, maybe not in the way that you've expected me to, but I feel like I wanted to get to know you, yeah.
But like my interests, my hobbies, my family, my job. But I literally...
Like a lot of things.
For like 2 seconds. I feel like I've pushed further, like with your family, with your job, and with all those things. I feel you just know the surface level things about me. And that's what my point is, though. It's one of the things I find really hard about you. You are who you are. And because you've been by yourself maybe for so many years, you're who you are. That's a lot.
I apologize. But I have been trying.
So yeah, that was exchange that really put the nail in Tim's coffin when it comes to public opinion. He had no interest in knowing her, being rude to her, and he wants to make it her problem. He wants to make it about her because I think he genuinely feels aggrieved by this situation. She has robbed him of a chance to meet the small, petite, blonde or brunette that he had in his mind. She has robbed that from him, and any contact he gives her is somehow him being overly generous because she is so beneath him. That is the stance that he is coming from. He is coming from a stance where he even attacks that she hasn't been in a relationship for a long time. Again, putting the onus on her, much like he did the first night. He doesn't want to bite the bullet to make a decision, so he puts it on her shoulders. Well, you've got to make a decision. And he just goes full gaslight mode. She starts crying, saying she's sorry that she let him down. She's not let him down. That man has not been in a relationship recently. He just has not. And no relationship of his has ever lasted long. So how is it her the problem? How is it just her that's the problem? because she hasn't been in a relationship for a long time. Then he goes into it just attacking who she is as a whole person. Oh, it's just you. To the point where she breaks down crying. It's completely unacceptable. And that is just gaslighting 101. And she has tried to show interest in things that he is interested in. For example,
I want to see a trout. Do you fish?
No, I've never fished, really.
Do you like
What do you
photography?
I wouldn't say I don't like it, but I've just never really done it, I guess.
Do you like being in photos if I took one of you?
I'm not the biggest photo person.
yes, it's that kind of talk that he was really putting out there that she was just not responding to. He had no interest at any point to get to know her. And in a way, that's fine. But he had to let this go. He has to bite the bullet and look like the bad guy. Because if he left on the first night, yes, people would remember him for being shallow. But he went full gaslight abusive mode, which is so much more terrible. There's video evidence. But then again, this is my argument that I think he thinks everything he is saying is true. He thinks that he has been putting in the effort. And that's why he carries himself saying that he's the nice guy, because he tells these stories and he believes it. But alas, dinner parties are the site of much chaos. And it turns out if you can't bear the heat, get out of the kitchen. Which is what he does.
Honeymoon?
Vanuatu.
Vanuatu, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
This guy.
Where did you go?
Tasmania. It was beautiful, but...
So, do you stick it out, or...?
Oh, I just didn't. Yeah, just didn't. We're still talking about Vanuatu.
Deflecting. Ding, 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 ding. This man's acting like he's never seen lampshades before. I want to know about this and this, or not. No.
So what happened in Vanuatu?
Why don't you want to answer me? I'm answering you a question. Don't deflect it. I'm minding my own business, enjoying my time, and then Jamie comes and sits down saying some stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I've never met the bloke.
Oh, what did she
So
say?
I was like, I'll come sit and speak to you.
What did she say?
You've been deflecting me since I met you, so...
No, I want to get to know every other couple.
I'm
not
get
here.
to know you and Katie as well.
I'm just disappointed that Jamie's going up that and saying blah, blah, blah. What did she say?
Jamie, babe, come here.
If you heard what I heard on that end of the table, bullshit. I'm going to sell a light soon. I can't...
Jonathan, where are you going? Don't go. But come back, because you haven't asked me how my wedding was.
I've seen shit. I'm done.
He couldn't handle being challenged. Even Paul found his deflection funny. He was so concerned about what Jamie was saying that he couldn't handle it. He doesn't like women. He doesn't. I reckon he listens to podcasts by alpha males. I reckon he subscribed to Fresh and Fit, because I can't imagine how this man thinks like that. He doesn't like being challenged by women, clearly. And when he realises that the room is not with him, he can't handle it. Jamie heard what was said, and she knew it was gaslighting. And she said something about it. And of course, Karina went there to get gossip. She wanted to know the details. She wanted to judge him, and he couldn't handle that. Probably because when he was writing his list, lists, and when he went on this show, the women he was imagining he would get would be Jamie or Karina. So when they turned against him and he realises, oh, they prefer her to me, it probably hurts him a lot. These women that he thought he deserved by being the nice guy don't like him, and I think it shatters his view of things. So he just walks out. Also, that white skinny jeans, white shirt look is a bad look. You can't be judging anybody walking out in that. That's a terrible look. It's pure cowardice. After the initial dinner party, they move into apartments with their husband or wife. And Katie moves into the apartment and Tim doesn't. Which I think maybe at this point Katie should have left. I think this was taking it a bit too far. I think she should have made that decision. Tim was already looking like the villain. That's fine. Leave, girl. And I actually think it was good that he didn't turn up, because this show has a ranking where couples are given pictures of all the other candidates and they have to rank their attractiveness. So the guys have to rank the attractiveness of all the women, and the women have to rank the attractiveness of all the men. Now you'd think, be easy task, always put your wife at the top, always put your husband at the top. But no, they always seem to have a few people that decide to put their wives lower than the top. And it's such an easy task to do. But I actually think for Katie's sanity, it was probably better that she didn't have to witness him probably putting her on the bottom of the pile. And it won't be just big, and he wouldn't put her at the bottom because, her looks purely. It'll be because he's so aggrieved by the fact that he is being matched with Katie. So he would want to pull her down a peg. So at least she avoided that absolutely insane task. Now at the end of every week or so, they have a commitment ceremony where they basically both vote to stay or leave. Now, I think we know that they're both going to leave, but at the commitment ceremony, they talk with the professionals that match them. The professionals that match them also watch the dinner party and make assessments on that as well. So they give the couple advice, and sometimes they tell off the couple.
Start with you first, Katie. Tell us right now how you're feeling about things.
Yeah, so on the wedding night, he wanted to have a private chat to let me know that there's no spark. And he put the onus on me to tell him whether he should stick around and whether we should go to the honeymoon or not.
And what sort of impact did that have on you?
Initially, I was, really hurt, really disappointed. I assumed that I would have somebody, with me in this process to at least try. Instead, it's clear that he didn't get what he ordered, and he's been running back to Melbourne ever since. He said he wanted a blonde or brunette, somebody petite, somebody short, somebody quiet.
Did Tim say that?
Yes. In fact, he also verified that on the honeymoon. And, that's not me. I'm not any of that.
So he wanted someone quiet as well. It gets worse by the minute. It honestly does. It gets worse by the minute. But I'm glad she got to say her piece, even though he was pulling the most hideous of faces and trying to, again, just gaslight her, and just be like, you don't remember stuff correctly, acting almost surprised that he's hearing this. And maybe he is surprised that he's hearing this. But The fact that he wants someone quiet is kind of worrying. Like, he's got this kind of image, and I'm guessing he must have lied to the experts, the producers, and the researchers, because I would hope they wouldn't allow this man on the show. So, but the fact that he wanted someone quiet, and the fact that he put the decision on her, just shows a level of cowardice that I think is embarrassing for a 38-year-old man to have. And he's still wearing skinny jeans. They don't suit you, bro. Stop. Of course, as Katie had her time to speak, Tim has his time to speak too, where the experts will ask him further questions on some of what Katie has said.
Last night, I came in and said to Katie, I'm so sorry I don't feel the spark. I just met her and I was panicking. And I said, the spark's not there. Let's see if we can build it as friends. We got down to the honeymoon on the first night. And I'm like, let's try and get to know each other, because that's how a spark can build. And she was sitting there reading emails for about an hour as I was trying to talk to her on the phone, reading emails. Was that not?
Do you think maybe Katie was trying to save face? Because she had a huge body blow,
Yeah, I
where
understand
she's
that.
feeling rejected.
I understand
And
that.
she was into you and wanted to see what would happen.
Well, there hasn't been any indication that she has. I came here for love, not to do work. Just like, I was there for the honeymoon to get to know her. And for me, building that spark is by getting to know someone. The only thing Katie knows about me is what I said in my vows.
Oh.
So after we left the honeymoon, I was hoping Katie would reach out and I would get something, because we spent all that time together.
What, the whole 48 hours we knew each other?
But I never heard from Katie again.
Did you reach out to her?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I think the number one thing I was looking for was someone to be here for me. When you feel that someone's not there for you, like, that's not a partner I want.
That man wants to be worshipped. He wants a woman who's obsessed with him, I think. He wants to be worshipped because he's special and he's been through all these trials and tribulations. He thinks he's a great guy. He thinks he's a top-notch guy. And the fact that he cannot see through the gaslighting, the emotional turmoil he's put her through, that he cannot see what the hell is going on is crazy. So they eventually decide, they tick the box and they leave, because you can't plan that. You can't get past what's happened. But what's really interesting is, I was asking myself the question, is this a villain edit? But one thing I've realised, it's not. I think the editing has emphasised what he's done. So, for example, bits where they've cut Katie talking really positively about him on the wedding day and him just saying, I feel no spark, I feel no spark. Which, again, just be honest with what a spark is, mate. We ain't got all day. So I think editing has highlighted or emphasised it. But we saw what he said. And I showed you that snippet earlier, but no one can change what he said in this bit.
Just no attraction. There's nothing there. And I can tell straight away, and it's just sort of like...
You don't even know her yet.
I know, but if there's just nothing there, what do you do? Oh, I'm shattered. I was just like, as soon as I was up there, I was like, fuck. It's disappointing. Yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed, like, that I've come here now.
You can't judge someone straight away from that short amount of time.
Like, I don't want to be here. I'm just like, fucked.
You need to find out why you've been mad.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've 5 minutes.
I know.
Completely cut this woman off.
But I just feel like I've wasted my time. I just want to run away.
Editing Gina here. thank you for tuning in today. Please like and subscribe. I will probably have an Elliot, Lauren, Veronica and Clint video coming up soon. So yeah, see you later. Bye.